A leisure ship from the dark age of technology. There are a few ships from the dark age that have had the bad luck to wash upon the shores of 40k. The Spirit of Eternity, driven mad by the loss of its pilot. The Slaughtersong, with its dark age tech and chaos-aligned pilot replacing the original. And this one, a different type of ship. A leisure ship, commanded by an AI that lures two brothers of the Mechancus to it. But why them, and who else has it called? And for me, what insight to AI and technology from the Dark Age can this give us? Marcus and Cornelius are both members of the Mechancus. They risk the wrath of Mechancus to explore this ship. The secrets they can gouge out of the ship's bones are the things that attracts them. They are waiting for this ship, the Nepenthe, to emerge from the warp. They believe the ship has been travelling since the Dark Age. Marcus says, the parabola of the Nepenthe's trajectory makes it clear, if we do not take our chance now, we will not see the vessel in our lifetime. The dimensions of the vessel exceeded their initial estimates, near in proportions to a battle barge than a mere cruiser. The brothers are sent over accompanied by Silax guardians, and slowly the Nepenthe becomes reticulated. The lines so narrow that Marcus might have missed them if it wasn't for the intensity of their fluorescence. As he watches, the ship dismembers itself, separating along axial points, intelligible only by its private algorithms. Doors are configured, hinges, biometrics familiar to naval morphologies. A mouth opens in the interior of the ship, beckoning, its throat studded with orange guard lights. The entry point is the exact size of their shuttle. As they get inside, Marcus says, as far as we can tell, this entire docking facility is new, so fresh from being made, in fact, that the scaffolding is warm beneath Marcus's grip. The tunnel is concentric rings, bordered with ganglia of exposed circuitry, contact with their topology prevented by thick glass. One method of ingress, one option for exit. It feels like it was custom built specifically for our landing, or at least modified based on their morphometrics. The climate on the ship is equatorial, humid enough for condensation to bead and roll off the automata and drip from the servitors as they lumber ahead of their operators. The air is breathable, if faintly pungent with exhaust. The infrastructure is astounding, entirely modular. As far as I can see, I don't recognise the polymers used here, perhaps in line with how they are welcomed. It adapts inside to the needs of those who use it. The passages dilate into open space, unexpectedly commercial in its makeup. The servitors illuminate an out-of-commission fountain, the centrepiece of what Marcus presumes was a stage. Its anatomy choked by pathways. Mechanical stairs abseil diagonally from higher levels. 6 flights in total. The space ascending into a domed firmament. Retracted by the displays is the halcyon vision of a terrestrial night sky. Fast forwarding through cosmic phenomena, everything is clean, scrupulously maintained. Except it shouldn't be. The impractical design of the ship, its apparent devotion to leisure, all tenets of a time when interstellar travel was something to venerate. The air should be clogged with dust, but the hallways stink of effluvium, rusty water and decomposing protein. It shouldn't be so clean. Marcus runs his eyes along the landing again, searching, uncertain. Despite everything, despite fact, despite logic, it feels as though they've breached a moment locked in freeze frame, and any moment now, animation will return. Bodies will shuffle into visual range. Music will play. You should have started running. A hololithic projection graphs itself together. In the corner, a man, wire slim, sitting astride the lip of the fountain, knee pulled to his chest, and around them the ship awakens. Lights come on, in undulating spirals, threading the outlines of bodies he should have seen, should have noticed long ago. The new enemy give off some sort of neurotoxin, and they look familiar. They are gene stealers. During the fight, Cornelius loses sight of his brother and panics, and he turns when he hears Marcus's scream, and enemies surround them. The Nepenthe speaks. You are in a protected void sphere. She intones with perfect inflection. Magnesium white pinholes of light flare along the surface of the Nepenthe, even as the strange voice pours from every speaker, every stretch of space along the explorator vessel. You are in a protected void sphere. Move, or we will register your inaction as a declaration of aggression. Move. Something cracks the monotone, or there will be nothing of yours to move. Marcus shouts for his brother and manages to reach him. Cornelius says communications are not getting out, and they see an exit into another, hopefully safer area. The Mechanicum forces retreat, and the gene stealers do not follow. They discover what might have once been a medbay away from that threat, save it had been repurposed for a specific reason. There are vats everywhere, machines by the dozen, each devoted to a separate horror. Here there is a system cultivating and curating bacteria cultures. Here a sterilization vat. Here a miracle of engineering, pulping the fungi, decocting them into food, probably providing things for those on the ship. I think the horror part is because the technology is machine with no spirit to the eyes of those that serve the Mechanicum. Marcus stares at the yellowed skeleton suspended at the heart of the facility, at the glistening sheets of grey tissue draped across its stretched arms. She was female. Mite-like drones crawl across the stretched flesh, pruning it of necrotizing cells, harvesting the healthy. We know Dark Age technology had nanites of some sort, so perhaps the ones here are some larger version of them, keeping the girl alive. Others build circuitry of what they'd collected, store them in glass, stack them in silos twice as high as the gawking tech priests. Every last shelf of oozing constellation of blinking lights and stinking green, yellow lymph. Perhaps those collections are to clone her later. She appears before them as an image. She is asked who she is, and she responds, a psyker, I think, and now she is the Nepenthe. I am her protector, her mother, her guardian. I am the one who keeps her crews safe. Cornelius interjects, some ghost of him restored. Everyone's dead. There are nothing but gene stealers on board the ship, and there are 1,645 living beings on the ship. I have monitored their biometrics. I have adjusted the climate of the ship in accordance to their requirements. I have ensured optimal conditions for their survival within the limits of available resources. Though clearly deluded in terms of what it cares for, the AI, through the psyker, does everything it can to look after the crew, even if the crew are gene stealers. Perhaps before the cybernetic revolt, this was how some of the AI would act. We see the Slaughtersong's AI as a good relationship with its surrogate pilot, for example. The brothers are asked why they are there, and they say she called them. The projection of the man from earlier laughs and explains. Psychic residue. They wanted something that would keep the crew calm, something more tactile than a cool voice through the intercoms. So they vivisected a psyker, came up with a way to clone her tissue, over and again, bind that power to their machinery. Here Mouse, the body of the psyker, releases its rictus. It hurts her every time. Perhaps the tech the brothers saw when they came in was to clone her next time around. So, the ship has the ability to clone without issue, as the kin who are produced by the ancestor cores of the Leagues of Votan are, and the ship uses the psyker to calm down those on board. Perhaps with the gene stealers, this could be like some sort of soothing hive mind. This also indicates some understanding of psykers from that age, which I think is a very strong possibility from the lore I've been over. And anyway, the tale ends. The Mech brothers are never wanted there, but they're wanted to stay, and they do. And then the process begins again. As they kindly invite over the Magos, they are dodged to get there. They say, come on board. There's so much waiting for you to see. And if you like this video on an AI from the Dark Age of technology, you should try this one.